right, good morning, everyone. Would like to go ahead and get things started today. We appreciate you coming out to our Carolina's LGBT Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn. Our Lunch and Learn series is, of course, powered by Bank of America. We really appreciate their sponsorship and allowing us to do these throughout the year. Today, the space looks a little bit different. If you've been to our previous Lunch and Learns, we really appreciate Avid Exchange coming in and allowing us to use their space for the remainder of the year. Not to go into too much detail, but we had to make a few switches from our Carolina Esports Hub with using their space, but they are still live streaming our series, which we're very appreciative of. So today we're going to be talking about building trust and profitability for your brand. This is the second part of a two-part series. If you came last month to hear Joyce St. Cyr speak about top mistakes to avoid in small business, startup, and accounting, this is the next part of that. And so we're very lucky to have Jen Carbuto with Jen Carbuto Designs with us, and Daniel Pentecost with CLT Geek with us. So I'm going to have them come up. Let's give them a warm welcome and introduce themselves and everything. So thanks so much.
So I would actually like to introduce Jen. How many of you already know Jen? For those of you that don't know Jen, Jen has over 20 years experience in luxury design, catalog print, and all things marketing. If you ever wanted to pick somebody's brain who has done in the industry things that you have absolutely bought, talk to her. She's probably designed, consulted on, or created a catalog that you have purchased something out of and you didn't know it because she was designing for the people who sell you very expensive stuff. With that introduction, I present to you Jen Carbuto.
Hi, hi everyone. Daniel, that was too sweet. I've been with Daniel with partnering up, like he does all the print, and we do a lot of collaborations, working on all kinds of projects. I don't want to get too close. Yeah? Okay. It sounds so loud. I'm from New York originally, and I've been in Charlotte going on 12 years, and I love it here. I've worked on brands from Bed Bath & Beyond, Seiko, Bulova, Citizen, jewelry, Neo shoes and sandals, and that
feels like almost every realtor in Charlotte.
and a lot of realtors, seriously. But it's all good. It's finance, and I do a lot of side work. I am consulting for Equitable Life Insurance right now, so I help with their marketing team. I've been with the Chamber on the board for 10 years now? 11?
Jen is the longest continually serving board member and is also one of our longest membered allies.
So I feel like, should I introduce you too, or now, or you after?
It's my turn.
Okay.
So Jen, my question for you is, what is branding?
Branding is how you want to portray yourself and your company to others. You want people to buy new customers and keep your current customers. It involves strategy. It involves thinking and being precise. The 3 big C's that a lot of people say are consistency. Consistency. Oh my God, where's my notes? Thank you. Sorry, I really hate speaking. This is my first time. Consistency, clarity, and constancy?
Continuity.
Constancy.
Constancy.
So you keep throwing the same thing. You have to have a vision. Should I read? No, it's on the screen. You would like to have a good vision, and includes everything from strategy, your marketing materials, your voice, like what does your brand represent? What do you want it to say? What's the vibe? Like Are you professional and classic? Are you loud and fun? Like, everyone has a voice. I did give an example, like Nike has a really great brand. And almost anywhere you see it, you see the swoosh, you know who it is. They're all about inclusivity, so they include everyone. They include all sports. They don't leave out a sport. They don't leave out a gender. They don't leave out a disability. They are all in. So that's where you need to find your brand focus.
So that sounds like a good checklist. What is the checklist for your branding?
Thank you so much for helping. So these are the three main things that you should do for a checklist. So it's the strategy behind your company, your identity, like, you know, what do you look like? Who do you sound like? What's your vibe? And then the marketing, which is all the physical pieces that you see, the banners, your logo, colors, even your voice, which would be a writer, because I have a writer in the room. A lot of people don't think they need writers, but they're important for a reason. So giving a shout out over there. I want her to do the next one. I told her, Jason, to look you up. So when you break those three things out, I mean, identity is everything. Like when I meet up with a client and it's for a logo, I sit down, I ask them 5 questions of all different things about who they are, what they want their brand to say, what their favorite colors are or not, because if it's something that they hate, I don't want to present something that they hate. They answer back all the questions. I'll go back to the drawing board, I'll do my research, I design 5 concepts, and then I do a brand board. And I think everyone should start getting brand boards. It shows you the colors, it shows you the vision of inspiration for what your company represents. The strengths, is it financial? Is it, you know, knowledge? Is it, you know, there's a million things that you could break away from that, and that helps decide on how you're gonna move forward with your materials. And then that goes from logo to business cards. I have a lot of people that will be like, I need a logo, and then I never hear from them again. And then they go into Canva and they go crazy, and you have like red one day, blue another day, different fonts. Like, we try to, again, consistency is what makes everybody remember who you are. Like Starbucks, you always know it's a green and the lady's head, and there's no question. You just have to be consistent. But so that besides the logo, business cards, you have banners, you have tablecloths, you have brochures, you have flyers, you have social media. So all that should be tied in, not just a one-off and then say, oh, I could do the rest, because unless you go to school for that, unless this is your hobby that's full-time, it's not the same. And then last is brand marketing, which is everything from your experience on a website, your website, email marketing, SEO, like how fast someone types in something about your company. Are you at the top? Are you on the second page? Social media, what platforms are you on? Instagram, Facebook, you know, whatever. There's everything. And then paid advertising. So those are the breakouts to do that part. Oh my God.
You okay?
Oh,
You good?
all right.
Take a breath, Jen. You did good. So I have a couple hot topics for us to talk about. And the first hot topic that I want to talk about is business cards. How many of you say you don't need a business card, or have heard someone in the last quarter say that you don't need a business card? Raise your hand. Hopefully that was not you that said that, because I'm here to tell you that you're a liar. And let me tell you why you're a liar if you say you don't need a business card. When I meet you in person, that is an interaction that creates a memory. If I give you one of those things that they try to sell you on Facebook or other places to just tap an NFC or scan a QR code, I'll add you to my phone. I've got 4,500 contacts in my phone. What do you think the chance of me finding you in my phone after we meet is? You want to guess that percentage is fairly close to zero? The studies on those prove that those digital business cards are about as useless as a door handle on an outhouse. Because you probably don't want to use an outhouse, not because the outhouse doesn't work, but the outhouse is not where you want your business to be. I got stories to tell about those digital business cards, but I'll wean it down to one. A prominent nonprofit in town had their board vote that all of their employees to be eco-friendly would no longer have business cards, and they would all get these little unique NFC cards. Great idea, until they all get to a meeting. And those NFC cards don't have their name on them. And those NFC cards, they're meeting with people from Asia. Just in case you don't know, if you're meeting with someone from Asia, there is a presentation format for giving your business card to someone. If you're not culturally sensitive to that, FYI, Google it. But you have to ask them for that back. So you have immediately offended the new Asian client that you tried to win because you asked them for that business card back that you shouldn't have bought in the first place. The other part is that group has to, at the end of meetings, go through and scan all the cards to figure out whose cards are whose because they're uniformly unidentifiable. They ended up putting P-Touch labels on them because they had bought the generic ones, and I see people buy them all the time. So you can tell me you don't want a business card, but 3 reasons you need a business card. Number 1, it creates a memory. When I hand you that business card, so you have on your table, or at least every other slot had, one of my refrigerator magnet business cards. When I hand you that business card in person, your brain is going to stop for a moment because that's thicker than a sheet of paper, and you go, oh, I have handed you something. That creates a memory and starts to create an association with me. Second reason, people lose their cell phones, they lose their contact lists, they can't find contacts in their contact list. I know out of the 4,500 contacts in my contact list, if I deal with 50 of them in a month, I've done well. That means there are 3,550 contacts in my contact list that never hear from me. And that happens to salespeople, that happens to small business owners, that happens to entrepreneurs. That happens to people who want to do business with me because I've created a memory by giving them my business card. The third reason that you want a business card is because, as Jen established, it shows your brand. It begins that conversation of who you are, that you are legitimate. Hang on to that word, because you are legitimate. They know what your colors are. They know that you have a professional identity and that you or someone have spent time figuring out who you are and who you want to be as a company. That legitimacy takes you into if your sales, takes you further into the sales process because you've already established that you are someone they want to do business with. What's your experience with digital business cards?
I've had a few clients ask about them, and I asked Daniel because I don't really deal with them, so he did give me all this already. None of them gone forward with them, but when I hand mine out, people are always like, oh, this is so nice. Like if just little touches, a little suede, a little metallic.
Did you see her business card? Did you see her business card?
It stands out. Like you might toss 10 of them, but you're going to keep mine, I think. You want them to keep yours. And if it looks professional and if it looks great, the chances are they're going to call you because you're giving that presentation of finished.
My favorite thing about a business card is when I go to hand somebody one of my business cards again. This has happened with Jason. I've gone to hand you a business card and you go, I already have that. That is music to my ears because not only did you keep it, you know you have it, you made a memory of it, and now you remember me, and the second time that I tried to hand you one, it's now an even more powerful memory because the next time you see it, you will remember this crazy hippie-looking geek guy and all of the stuff that he does.
And there's a lot of different cards out there, too. I mean, he does metal cards with like a bottle opener in it. I mean, you could be really different. You could have plastic, you could have magnetic. There's a lot to do that can make you stand out.
That brings me to the integration of digital and NFC into existing business cards. There is no downside for putting a QR code on an existing business card, particularly if you put it on the back so it does not compete with your personal information. That way, if somebody wants to scan it, does not want the business card, totally fine. They can scan it and get whatever they need.
I do have a bunch of clients that did that. They put the QR on the back.
NFC cards, the ones that you tap, even my iPhone users tell me that they can't consistently get those things to tap. And when a person you go to hand your NFC card to has to tap 5 times for it to work, you've just eliminated the frictionless nature of an NFC card. You've created friction in that initial introduction in your relationship. Consider whether you want to do that or not. Generally, I consider that a bad idea. Now, swag. People love to give out stuff. We gave you some stuff today. We gave you laser-etched pens. We gave you a toolkit that hopefully you'll take home. You can scan the QR code later and get the digital version of it, or you can go to cltgeek.com or jcarbudo.com and download the PDF version of that. And for those watching on the web, you can grab those today. You can go to cltgeek.com or jcarbudo.com and download the toolkit that we're going to talk about in a bit. Once you have items that you can give away, do you want to give them to new customers or new potential customers, or do you want to give them to people that will refer you customers? So if you read the title for this session, one of the things it included was maximizing referrals. I want to tell you the quickest way to maximize your referrals. Stop giving away your free stuff to people who have never spent money with you. Give it to people who will refer business to you. That is the easiest way and the cheapest way to acquire new customers, is instead of chasing 5,000 pieces of merchandise to give to 5,000 people, of whom 5 may contact you. That's roughly the statistics from a lot of that stuff, by the way. Give it to the people who have already done business with you and nurture that relationship. The cheapest customer you will ever acquire is the one that you already have. Nurture that relationship, whether it's t-shirts, bottle openers, cups, pens, whatever you can do to nurture that relationship with somebody who already likes you. Turn somebody who likes you into a raving fan. Give them a t-shirt that they can wear so that they can rep your brand. Just like if I was going to recommend Jen, which I do frequently because she is also the art director for CLT Geek. When I recommend her, if I have something of Jen's, I got a Jen pen, I've got a Jen business card, which I have in my stash at all times, I can hand it to them and instantly create a connection. So when they connect with her, I have given her my halo. That's what you want your referrals to do. Every time Chad refers somebody to me, I know for a fact that he has said some nice words about me that I did not have to pay for. Now, I may have to pay for them later. So far, he has not sent me an invoice. But I'm afraid if he did, I might be broke. Because raving fans are the people that you want repping your brand. Put stuff in their hands. As Jen mentioned, I have bottle opener business cards. We have thick metal bottle openers that are just laser etched as business cards. I give those most frequently to existing customers so that when they're in conversation with someone, they can hand or show one of those, or if they're out on the dock at the lake having a few beverages with friends, that business card comes out and somebody is inevitably going to ask, what is that? And every time I can count that they're going to tell a story about who CLT Geek is and why they should call me when they need something.
The metal cards are really cool. I had a client do it, a realtor. They came out super nice.
So Jen, I'm going to ask you this question. There we go. Why does print still matter? Tell me why to you print still matters.
I like the feel of print. I mean, I'm traditional, I'm old school, but not everybody is on their phone all the time. There's still signs. You just need print, I think.
Biggest one, if you can read these words up here, I got to turn around and see them. Tactile engagement. Do you see this one? Tactile engagement. How many of you are physical learners? You need to touch something, write something, do something, engage with something physical. Guess what? All of the customers that you're trying to win are also tactile learners. If you don't give them something tactile, if you give them a digital brochure, you have just sent them off and said, I'm not interested in who you are as a person because I don't understand how your brain works. You look at most people, tactile learners, they need tactile engagement. They need what I gave you today, which is a printed booklet. Even if you never read it, your mind has registered that I have given you a physical booklet, and you will remember that at some point that you got that, maybe in conversation with me, maybe in conversation with someone else, that, oh, I got this toolkit thing. Let me find that. You may take a minute to find it. Hopefully you can reach out to me if you can't find it, and I will make sure you get another copy, whether you need a printed copy or you need a digital copy. But that tactile engagement matters also because it provides legitimacy. That legitimacy is the halo around your business to tell people that, hey, I deserve to do business with you because I know what's going on. How many of the clients that you've worked with this year came to you and said, I need a logo because I need people to see me as legitimate, or some version of that?
Oh, everybody. And everybody wants like
single one of them.
their brand to be shown, and they want their logo with everything to match.
So it doesn't matter whether you're a one-person shop or you're the largest company in America, although I don't wish you to be Walmart because that's a whole lot of stuff to deal with as a company. But that tangible legitimacy is the thing that you're looking for in your business. When I meet you out in public, like right here, you know I'm attached to the chamber. You know I'm a chamber member. If I had my banner up, you would see that I'm an NGLCC certified LGBTBE. Boy, ain't that a mouthful. Basically, that means I took the time to say, I want you to know that I stand behind my business and I'm willing to jump through the hoops to prove it. The same thing is true with your printed materials. The reason the chamber has a membership booklet is so that you can provide legitimacy to somebody who is going to pay you some money, whether that's a small business member or that's the largest corporate member. That legitimacy is important. Also, contextualization. Fancy word means put it in the words that the person who's receiving it can understand. You don't necessarily want to use the same presentation, the same brochure, the same flyer for every company that you deal with. Some people identify their materials via the vertical, fancy word, via the specific niche that they're going to go after. That may be you. You may also customize your brochure by the person. Mm-hmm. Every time I do a presentation to somebody, my presentations are 100% custom. I create the presentation to the company after I have researched the company so that when I sit down with the owner of the company, I can tell them all the stuff they didn't know about their business and become their trusted friend because I know more about their business than they do. You can do the same thing because a lot of companies put all their business on Instagram, Facebook, their website, everywhere else. Contextualize your brochures, your marketing materials. I can print them for you if you need them printed. You can print them, somewhere like FedEx. You can use your home office printer. Get some good paper and print it out and have it contextualized. And people do recognize when they receive contextualized materials that you've spent time. And time matters. We live in a society where, as businesses, we try to get to the next appointment. Telling someone that time matters and you took the time to customize the marketing material to them will get you further down that process of winning their business than if you just slide them that brochure that you had 5,000 printed of that's been in the closet for the last 10 years. Yeah. How many times do we get brochures and flyers and other stuff that has existed since 2008?
A bunch.
I mean, it's a lot. And people ask why those don't work. Well, they look old. They're not current. The information on them is probably wrong, and they're not contextualized to the customer. here is, I can't read the numbers from here. Can I read them here? Yeah. So in a study by the Canada Post in True Impact Marketing, unaided brand recall, that means you showed somebody a brand and then asked them if they could remember it. If you gave them physical materials, unaided brand recall was 75%. 3/4 of those people remembered the brand that they were introduced to via physical materials. When it was digital, it was only 44%. You can throw away 33% of your marketing budget by just doing digital only. Think about that the next time somebody says, I only want it digital.
Swipe, fast, like it's not memorable, whereas you have a piece that someone put together, the time, the effort, and made it look nice. You'll look at that longer than you do your screen.
Okay. Now, I've dogged digital, but let me tell you why you also need to do digital. So notice I said also need to do digital. That, whoop. How do you like that screw top? There you go. Talk about a referral. There you go. You saw it in action. Why digital? Digital is fast. Jen just said it. We can generate it in a couple days or a day, and you can send it off. Follow up on that digital with print. Also, micro-targeting and retargeting. I call this the Alexa and Siri are listening syndrome. If you're not using retargeting and you're doing digital marketing, you are throwing your money out the window. Let me tell you what retargeting is. Retargeting is that thing where you go to one website and look up a pink turtleneck, and go to another website and the other website shows you a pink turtleneck. That is because the ad networks talk to each other, and they know that you're interested in a pink turtleneck, so everybody that's participating in that group is going to show you a pink turtleneck. When you're doing emails, when you're doing Google ads, when you're doing other online digital advertising, make sure that the tools that you're using, whether that's a Shopify website, whether that's Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever, make sure that the person you're working with understands retargeting and is able to bake that into your ad design and ad spend. Because repetition is the game in digital. We just looked at the numbers, 75% remember physical, 43 or 44% remember digital. That means you've got to expose that digital person multiple times before they're going to remember who you are. That is done via retargeting. If you're going to remember a word from today, remember retargeting and figure out how you can use it to re-expose your business multiple times, time after time, to the same person who's interested in what you're doing, no matter where they go looking for that content. Also, cost. Email is cheap. Bad news is email reach is awful. There is an inverse relationship there to cost versus reach. But here's the scoop. If you build your email list, which is still the most sales generated through organic interactions with clients, meaning that person didn't just like go somewhere and get harassed by a paid salesperson. Those email lists may only get 10% opens, but they still generate for small businesses the most money in sales. That means if you don't have an email list and you work with clients on a consistent basis, you need to start developing an email list, ask any realtor in the room why they do emails. Jason, why do you do emails? Because the people that love you see that email consistently, and having your brand in front of them consistently, even if it's in their spam folder, matters, because that person is consistently exposed to your brand.
And I get your emails, Jason? I know exactly, before even scrolling down to the bottom, it's Jason's. I do, because he does a really good job at branding.
Another tip about emails, difficult audiences. I am a difficult audience. I have a gatekeeper, I have an answering service for the business. It's really hard to get my eyeballs if I don't know you via email. I get a bunch of business cards or contacts or people that want me to scan their NFC code when I'm out, and I just don't connect because I've already got somebody for that. But you can use email and similar digital outreach to reach me multiple times so that you can catch me that moment when I'm paying attention. This happens with one of the companies that we do business with frequently, where I'm really not interested in buying anything. But then I will get an email at 5 o'clock on a Friday and go, well, that'd be an interesting thing to buy. And miraculously, they get a sale about once a quarter. But they get it because they're contacting me on a weekly basis. Not harassing me, just staying in front of me so when I'm ready to buy something, they're in front of me. From those topics, do you have any questions? Are there burning questions that you've always wanted to ask somebody? No holds. Becky.
People like swag for sure, but I also hear more and more that people want something that doesn't damage the environment, that people actually keep, that it's not just they grab it because it's free and then it's in the trash, you know, on the next half block at a festival. And so how can you keep your stuff from going to the trash?
Do you want to know the secret to that? I want it to be eco-friendly. It's all bullshit. Just so you've heard me say it. There is no such thing as eco-friendly swag. It doesn't matter whether it's manufactured in the United States or manufactured in China. The round trip on all of that stuff is ridiculous. I do have, if you want to buy some local eco-friendly swag, I do have friends in the textile business. If you wanted shirts that are grown in the Carolinas, sewn in the Carolinas, fabric made in the Carolinas, and shirt printed in the Carolinas, you want to guess how much those cost a piece? About $32 a piece, unless you're buying them by the hundreds. So everybody says they want this eco-friendly stuff, and you get all these companies, and I have the catalogs that say they have all this eco-friendly swag. It's all bullshit, just so you know. They sell plenty of it. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. Just understand that what you're buying is a marketing spin on somebody else's determination of what is eco-friendly that probably does not match yours. If you go into it with that expectation, you won't be disappointed. If you want to take a look at swag, you can go to cltgeek.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you can look at all of the pins and cups and all of the promotional items. There's links to them up in the right-hand navigation. Eco-friendly, unfortunately, it's a marketing term. I have high hopes that one day it will become something that actually has legitimacy. But unless you're spending a lot of money on each product, there's no such thing as eco-friendly, because the transportation of that product has encompassed probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of miles. It may have been around the world 3 times. Prime example that I saw in the food service business is there are food products that are grown in Thailand, shipped to Canada to be processed, shipped back to China to be canned, and then sent back to the United States. But that is never explained in the product. That's not what I call eco-friendly. Even if the can on the front can say this product was grown and harvested in a sustainable fashion. That's just what I call dressed up BS. By the way, if you want to have more frank conversations like that, feel free to call the number on my business card. Chad can tell you I don't pull any punches, and in fact, I'm probably the person that will tell you the most brutal, honest answer to any question that you would want to ask. That's kind of how I work. If you want it nice, call her. Other questions?
As someone who rebrands constantly,
You keep us in business.
put yourself in handcuffs?
I mean, there's like small ways. I mean, you don't have to get rid of everything when you rebrand. You know, but like the three things I said, it's marketing, it's strategy, what is your vibe overall? Like, it's not just the colors, it's everything. Like, you know, I don't know, a lot of companies could change colors, but their logo is consistent, a pattern is consistent, their voice is consistent. I mean, there's not just colors, like.
Design language.
Yeah.
So when you work with Jen, one of the things that she will help you determine is what your design language is. And that encompasses the look and feel, the colors, I'm going to say gender. Print materials are gendered or not gendered. Depends on how you intend them to be designed.
It's a tone, like.
So to your point, you know, when you change your branding every year, how do
Just
you
keep
make sure
everybody
your
guessing.
customers aren't how do you make sure your customers aren't lost in the transition?
shuffle.
You have to make sure that enough of it stays the same, and helps if you use the same designer for all of the branding. That ensures that the design language remains consistent.
It's a difficult one, but you could get there.
Other questions? Anything you've ever wanted to know about swag, imprints, printing?
Are there like hot swag items now? Not necessarily like eco-friendly, but something that is not ending up in the trash, right? Like my wife is notorious for taking every piece of swag from everything and then leaving this giant bin in the garage.
We love tumblers. My family loves them. My kids use them all the time. I mean, those don't go in the trash.
It's gonna depend on price point. The hottest swag at the moment are those Stanley style tumblers. The giant
Oh, yeah,
ones that
they're
are even
really
bigger than
nice.
this that have the big handle.
Yeah, they're
Um,
like heavy.
But prepare to pay $40 a piece with
Yeah.
a logo etched or designed into it.
My name's Jamie. I lead the events team here at Avid Exchange, and we find for the low-cost swag items, like the things that have a lot of brand new longevity, are things that remain on your desk or with utility. One of the most popular items that we give away at trade shows is chip clips and bamboo reusable utensil kits. And like people keep them forever. I don't know what that does for our brand in terms of the, symbiote or the association that you were referring to, but people love them and they hang on to them forever.
Well, it makes them feel happy. Now, we should say the bamboo, you should define, the chip clips are fairly inexpensive. The bamboo utensil kits are not exactly $1.
Yeah, they're more expensive. They're one of the more, they're like $4 a piece.
Yes. I always get asked, what can I get for $1 that people won't throw away? My answer to that is $1. And if you want, if you want to do that, because technically we can't print on dollars, but we can print Post-it notes that you can put on dollars to hand away dollars. And I have had clients do that as a swag giveaway. I'm like, why would you, if you're complaining about spending $3 on an item and you don't want to spend $3 on an item, and a lot of companies complain about that, you want to spend $1 on an item that somebody's going to value, well, give them $1. I mean,
At the business expo, we gave $45, $50 rolled up,
Mhm.
and in this swag little cute kit, and whoever won it won $50 cash. Nobody's going to turn down cash.
yeah. So in today's market, cash is particularly important. If you email one of us if you want to see a picture of that, we both have pictures of it.
Yeah.
But for the cost of the cash plus a couple dollars for the item to embed the cash in, you can embed cash in something to put at your trade show and use that as a way to collect identifying information. So people will give you their name, email address, and phone number to build your email list and your text list. If you give away $50 in green cash and have it displayed at your trade show booth, it works really well.
Talk to everybody about, I know that everybody in here, they're small
that up.
Can you talk to everybody about JPEGs, PNGs, and why those are not great items?
Not the question I thought you were going to ask, but I was going to talk about what to do now, and I will wrap that into the discussion. Every time we get asked to print one of these banners or a horizontal banner, somebody inevitably sends me a JPEG or a PNG. If you've seen the two file endings, JPG and .png, those are the bane of our existence. They do absolutely nothing for a designer except make us mad and waste our time. When you get a logo created, make sure that the designer gives you some files that you probably can't open. Those are the ones that we want, because those are the ones that can be blown up infinitely. When we create something large, a JPEG or a PNG turns into a bunch of little dots and blobs. And those dots and blobs don't represent your brand the way that we want it to. We have a solution to that if you send me that JPEG or PNG, or you've lost the files that the designer sent you that you can't open because you didn't think they mattered. Happens every week, I promise you. We recreate your logo. That's how we do it. And you pay for us to recreate your logo. And that's not $5. Depending on the complexity of the logo,
This is weekly.
it'll go from $65 to $250, depending on the complexity of the logo. If you go on Fiverr and buy that logo for $25 and then try to give it to us to use to print a wrap for your truck, I'm going to tell you that doesn't work for me. It's going to cost you $100 for me to redo your logo. Well, that logo didn't cost you $25. That logo cost you $125. Keep that in mind when you're pricing services. Also, with JPEGs and PNGs, you get into some weird formatting issues. If you send them like you're going to sponsor something, and you send it to a random designer, you'll end up with a logo that has a white square background around it, instead of seeing the background that was on the page. Why does that happen? Because they didn't want to take the time to recreate your logo so that it could be perfectly formatted for their design. Regarding Vistaprint,
Well, PNGs and JPEGs in general are just really like for PowerPoint,
They're
social
designed for the
media,
web.
like nothing printable. Like, just don't. Just don't. It'll
Um,
cost you more money.
specific to Vistaprint, all of the stuff that Vistaprint has in their base categories, like unless you upgrade to nicer stuff, is designed to be the cheapest thing you can buy. If you're looking for the cheapest thing to buy and your message to clients is, I'm the cheapest thing you can buy, please buy that. Nobody can make any money selling you that. If you want stuff that looks nice, like Jen's business card, then you're going to pay a little extra, but you're going to get a lot more love from the people who want to do business with you. And hopefully not the people who are looking for the cheapest of the cheapest to provide your service or whatever your business provides. Remember, when you go look for the cheapest thing, you are telegraphing to the people that receive that you are the cheapest thing. I often go through proposals with clients and take a look at what their proposals look like and give them feedback on what I would pay for that based on how the proposal looks. You don't give a $200,000 proposal that looks like a $25 proposal. You don't get the legitimacy. Remember that word from earlier? Also, we talked about carry your business cards and give them out freely. If you're stingy with your business cards aren't going to reward you with business. Now, if you're going to Canva or Vistaprint to design those, they still may not reward you with business because they may not pass the legitimacy test. Often, we get requests, I designed this in Canva, can you make it look
Can you
better?
print it?
Or can you print it or can you make
why
it
does
look
it
better?
look so blurry? It's because it's Canva.
There is the chief offender in the room. I'm not going to point at him.
That's a weekly question, always.
What
Like,
do you normally run into with Canva?
Canva is a great tool for someone that's not a designer, that is trying to get by and get their stuff out there, but don't go to Canva and design something and think you could print it. Like, it's not printable. It's just not. The specs are never right. It's not high res.
The size is never right.
Yeah, it's a nightmare continuously. They haven't, I don't know. And it's also a great tool. Like, you could hire a designer. I have people that hire me to make their Canva templates so their brand is consistent, because they're like, well, I could work on it, but it takes me all Saturday just to come up with one, and I could be doing other stuff, and they are correct. Like, if it's not your niche, pay somebody to get it done faster so that you could be out there selling your stuff or doing other things instead of wasting all your time trying to figure out Canva. And then you have like logos with white boxes behind them on a colorful background, and
Show of hands, how many of you knew that you could hire a designer to design your PowerPoint slides and your Canva documents? A couple of you. Love it.
Yeah.
Her name is Jen Carbuto.
I'm doing a lot of PowerPoint slides lately too. A lot of people are just like, can you just build the template out for me? And then the fonts, the backgrounds, the layout, everything is there for you. And then you just type in your words. It's really easy for somebody.
One tip I will give you about Canva is understand what it was created for. Canva was created for designing social media graphics. Was never designed for print. So whenever you send us something to print from Canva, we're always going to have questions, because number one, Canva hides the settings that you have to turn on in order to save your PDF actually so that I can print it with the bleed. So you see these nice banners that have color that go all the way to the edge? That's called bleed. There was an inch to each side of that banner that got cut off to make that pretty edge. And you have to include that in your files when you send them to us, or we'll tell you that your files aren't suited for printing. The other tip that I'll give you about Canva, the stock art that is included in Canva is not high enough resolution to print this big. It's fine for postcards, fine for business cards, fine for small format items. Large formats, no. Oh, P.S., and by the way, the largest design that you can design in Canva is 81 inches. This banner is 81.7 inches. So when you design this banner in Canva, you get a white space at the bottom of the top that I have to go in and fix before I print it. Or if you use somebody that doesn't know that you're not intending to have that white space, you get a banner that's got a white space. Artificial intelligence.
I don't know much about that.
Well, let me give a disclaimer here. So I'm going to tell you, be careful what you say online about how you use AI. CLT Geek is a concierge business support practice, has been in business since 2008. I have been a chief information officer for 22 years. This will be 23 years. My first chief information officer convention, I guess you would say, was on 9/11, so it's really easy for me to remember when it was. As a CIO, I'm going to give you some unpaid advice. It's worth at least twice what you're paying for it. Don't say that you're using AI online, because you are opening up yourself to be sued. All of the large photography organizations, all of the large graphics organizations are looking for small businesses with limited resources to make successful court cases out of and make you the example. They already have 12 suits filed and are already working on 12, and I can guarantee you they have the resources to do more if they find somebody that looks interesting. Now, if you choose to use AI, how many know what AI is? Okay. Short recap for those watching and anybody that don't know. It is possible for computers to look at millions of pieces of artwork and stuff and then translate that into where you can type in some words and they will spit out graphics. What we find with AI, you do run into this with Equitable, because I think they've started using some of this, although it might not hit your team yet. What we find is there are people who are using artificial intelligence to create graphics. And then they come to somebody like us and say, can you fix this? And that's the biggest ask that I see at the moment is I generated this, but it's not quite what I was looking for. Can you fix it to make it into what it was? Usually the cost for me to make that into what you actually wanted is the same as if you had come and just asked me in the first place. Or it may cost less than me trying to edit your art, FYI. Second thing to know about AI, it is using the artworks and potentially the copyrights of people that you don't know, that it learned on the internet, that you have no way of knowing what it got from because it came with no footnotes. For those of you that went through college or had a high school teacher that was really on it about footnotes and telling where your sources were, this is problematic for us in the business-to-business world. Less so in the business-to-consumer world because most consumers aren't going to research it. In the business world, if you give somebody artificial intelligence generated artwork, text, you're generating all of your website content via ChatGPT, you are interacting with businesses who may look up that information and try to figure out where it came from. I know quite a few large corporations in their procurement processes now, when they're looking at doing business with other people, do a quick look to see what the social media of that other company looks like and to see if it looks like they're using artificially generated content. Doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, but it is, as a business, it is something to be aware of. The space is changing fairly rapidly. It can be a good way to start. I know I've suggested small business owners use ChatGPT and similar tools to generate verbiage and then go through and completely edit and make that verbiage your own. And it gets you out of that, I'm stuck and I don't know what to say, so you can look at something that's been said and edit it, dramatically edit it into something that is your own voice and your own content. Did that answer your question? Okay. Things to do when you leave here today, and this will be it. I want you to get a real business card if you don't have one. If you need us to print them, I don't care how you get them. If you contact one of us, we will make sure that you get them. Get a real business card that has a QR code if you need the interaction. Use a dynamic QR code so that you can change where that QR code points later. Write that word down, dynamic QR code. If you generate a static QR code, it means you can never change where that QR code points when it's scanned. So if you print that on a business card and you decide you want it to link to a different link later, too bad, so sad, you got to reprint all your business cards. If it's a dynamic QR code, then you can change the link on the back end, and when they scan it, it'll go to the new place. Feel free to email me or ask if you have questions about how those work. Carry your business cards and give them away freely. Best thing you can do for your business is actually the cheapest marketing that I tell folks that you can do legitimately. Paper the town in your business cards. My business cards that I give away are, and the ones that Jen gives away, are not what I would consider cheap, but they're not expensive, and they generate substantial business. Brainstorm contextualized swag. So just like our comments on Avid Exchange swag, find something that makes sense for your business in your price range. And if you remember, I'm not telling you to engage in events where you're giving away 5,000 items to 5,000 people that'll never contact you. Start giving them away to people who are existing clients and referrals. Those swag pieces will pay you back. Also, review your brand and clarify your message. If you need help, call Jen. She can cut through the BS and help you find the real message that resonates with your brand. If you need honest feedback on your brand, I will be happy to give it. Expect honest and brutal feedback. Last but not least, remember to create emotion and memories. Best thing you can do in your business is remember that business is all about people. Even in today's highly automated and electronic businesses, there are always people behind those processes somewhere. Figure out how you can connect with them and make memories. The thing that you have on your desk, you may wonder why we've given it to you. It is our brand marketing toolkit. developed specifically for this session. If you did not get one, I have extras. Please take them home. They will take you through all of the basics that you need to get your branding started for your business. As a bonus, I have included in the back of that all of the suggested answers that I give clients for negative Google reviews. Did you know, P.S. and by the way, and Jason, you're welcome to come on up. Did you know, P.S. and by the way, some of the best clients come from responses to negative Google reviews, because the responses to a negative review set the tone for people on the outside to read how you respond to negative energy and negative responses in your business. I know from my clients that their good responses to negative reviews often generate some of the most loyal clients from people who complained or from people who read the complaint and were so impressed with how the complaint was handled, they decided they wanted to deal with that business. The last pages in that booklet have that for you. If you're watching on the web or watching this later, you can pick that up at cltgeek.com or jcarbuto.com. Just click on the website and download the digital toolkit that you will see linked.
Thank you.
We got time maybe for one more question. Does anyone have a question before we close out? Okay, well, I want to tell you a story. I am a client of Jen and Daniel's. Jen's designs are very fresh. Anything you see that deals with the chamber, Jen designed it, pretty much. So, yes, and Daniel printed it. They work, even though they have separate businesses, they work in tandem with each other a lot. So, again, Daniel, he's very honest. I'll give you a story. Recently, I wanted to get a new trade show banner printed, actually, and a tablecloth as well. And Daniel was like, well, what kind of tablecloth do you want? I was like, just one that's fabric and it can hang down. He said, well, I really would, I think you should go the spandex route. I'm like, well, I don't know. They're hard to put on there. And then he just went into saying, this is why you want that, because, if it's windy, it's just going to blow everywhere. And yes, if the ground is wet. So I went with his recommendation and used it at Pride recently, and as we were setting up, I saw all of the other booths, the ones that had the tablecloths that were just hanging, and it was a windy day, and they were just blowing in the wind. You couldn't see what it was reading, and I was like, you know what, I'm glad I listened to Daniel. So yes, he will be, and he'll say too, he said, if you want it printed and do it, I will do it, but I'm just want to be honest with you. So he's not going to not do it. So highly encourage you, if you take from today and you need some of this stuff done, please get in touch with Jen or Daniel. They will put you in the right direction and make sure your business looks legit. So let's give them a round of applause. As I close out, first thing, there's a survey, a QR code. I love those QR codes in front of you. Go ahead and scan that and fill that out. Let us know how we did today. Now, if you would love to be up here where Jen and Daniel are, you certainly can have that opportunity. On the table when you go out, or we can make sure you get this, it's been emailed out and it's also on our social media page. There's a link for our request for proposals for our next year's series. If you'd like to be up here, scan it, fill it out. We are interested in all types of topics. If you think you have something that you'd like to share that would appeal to professionals or small business owners, even if you work for a corporation and there's a topic that your corporation gives and it's amazing, and anything like that, please get this filled out, submitted by October 6th. We'll be putting together our series, which will run February through November next year. We'd love to have you and give you that opportunity to share with our members. Also, likewise, if you cater and would like to cater our Lunch and Learn, there's a cater RFP. Get that link and fill that out. We'd love to feature your business as a part of our meal for our lunch. Couple events coming up. We've got our block party event on the 4th Tuesday. That's going to be at Legion Brewing in Plaza Midwood. If you've not been to one of our 4th Tuesday events, they are a lot of fun. Encourage you to come out, network, and also just learn more about the chamber. So check that out. We also have our NASCAR Pride Day coming up on October 7th. It's from 2 to 6 p.m. Be on the lookout for some information regarding that, for tickets and things. We did this last year with NASCAR. It was great. So yes. So come on out. We'll have kind of a section and everything, and NASCAR will be doing some things as well. So that's October 7th. Mark your calendar and be on the lookout. And then our next Lunch and Learn is going to be on October 11th. A Legacy Federal Credit Union will be doing this one, and it's called Budgeting for Financial Success. Be here at Avid Exchange. Come and check that out. We've got 2 great speakers for that. And yeah, we've got a few board members. Raise your hand here as we close. If you'd like to learn more about being a member or anything else, have questions, come and see us as you're leaving. And we appreciate your attendance today. So we'll see you at a couple of our upcoming events.